Yo, what up, party people? You know what it is. Your boy Hakeem Green. Channel live and direct. BDP all day, every day. All we do. Spark Madism here on the Madism TV platform. Episode 33. Crazy number right there. We gonna get into the significance of 33. And this being the episode that I have my good brother, SHARIF Bey, who we've been talking about this evening for years now. We've been trying to line this up and get it going. And it's perfect timing because, you know, it's the day before Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Where America celebrates we're going to get into all that. But essentially, we're going to get into what is it to be an American? What's the true meaning of an American, of America, and our place as indigenous originals, Black people, brown people, Moors, Orientals, the long list of attributes we carry in the significance of each and the relevancy of each. And we're going to get into the direction of the political direction of our people going forward. Man, this is going to be one for the ages, y'all. I'm telling you, we about to go in. Telling you. So listen, you know how we do on Madism TV. I'm going to put up a video for the next 4 minutes. I'm going to ask everybody out there in the building to share, like, put people onto the platform so we have a nice, healthy audience in the queue. Comment, ask questions. The brother's on point. He's in the green room right now. The brother's on point. So with that said, we're going to get into The Cipher by Hakeem Green featuring KRS-One, produced by Ron Amin-Ra Lawrence. Yeah, it's how it goes down.
This stuff is real.
It's called The Cipher.
Hey, yo, what is a cipher?
What's it called? It's called The Cipher. Yo, it's called The Cipher. We can build or destroy. The cipher is a circle with all points connected. Where you get your boogie off and the weak get disrespected. The cipher is so sacred, it takes place on hollow ground. B-boys seek the battle on a mission to follow sound. Beatbox DJ banging on the table is the way we settle beef since the days of Cain and Abel. Ask Pop Master Fable, the jams at DMC, with DJs battle for world supremacy. The cipher's not always round, but always on the square. Breakers be on the ground, but I'm gonna put the weed in the air. The cipher's like the wheels of steel and scratch, it makes me itch. I get hyper with the lyrical skills when the DJ catch my pitch. When the fader's being switched, everything live in the mix, but still off the cut like I wear it on my wrist.
What is a cipher? What is a cipher?
The cipher, the cryptic writer, the mind igniter. I'm a rhymer designer, a line after line of rhymer. See, I'm an 80s rhymer, the crazy kind of you can't phase me rhymer. I write raw shit like I'm writing on baby diapers. I blaze these ciphers with basic shit. Savage, I'm on that kill for 8 type shit. Hit after hit, all classics, spitting the grit. You talk that hickory dick, you getting lickety split. This what you get, you ain't taking nothing from me. The goat that steps to KRS is the goat that's getting curried. Brain matter, I'm the original face slapper. It's been so many years, you must have forgot we used to chase rappers. Now I'm bust on these nappy-headed hoes, I must. You ain't bad boy, talk big, get your eye popped. That fake shit's not us, you know how fresh Chris is. Career killer, I write death sentences.
Hey, yo, what is a cipher? Hey, yo, what is a cipher? What is a cipher? What is a cipher?
We can build or destroy.
Time is of the essence, every breath another second. I'm down by martial law, fighting through the game like Tekken. I ain't be got no weapon when I camel walk like Johnny. Ringing bells when I rock the mic is poison like I'm Ronnie. Bob and weave through the dish and pull off in a new edition. Rapping is fundamental, whack MCs be steady riffing. I just stay in my lane when I'm on a scout like Kiffin. Looking for volunteers when there's a drought, I'm in the kitchen. Cooking up some special treats, not talking trout when I'm fishing. I cruise through a hunt with heavy clout when I'm on a mission. I'm special with the verse, every line in education. While y'all wrestle with the verse, I rhyme in meditation. Standing on one leg, balanced on the lotus, but still packed an eye for judgmental niggas who ain't the SCOTUS. You can roll with this when you done past the lighter. Rhymes going counterclockwise around the cipher.
What is a cipher? What is a cipher? What is a cipher?
Yeah, that's how it's going down. That's the cipher by myself, Hakeem Green, featuring the legendary KRS-One, produced by the legendary Amin-Ra Lawrence, Ron Amin-Ra Lawrence. Scratches by my brother DJ Nasty out of Miami. We're just trying to represent real hip-hop culture, real indigenous culture, which is truly a product of the American experience, if I must say. Hip-hop is truly a product of the American experience. So, you know, that word America, American, what it means, how it applies to all of us in the past and in present and future. You know, let's talk about it. So with no further ado, let's bring my brother in, Sharif Bey. Peace to God, peace to the God, peace to the
peace to the God. Yo, y'all like me amped up, man.
Yeah.
What? Come on, hip hop baby, bro.
Yeah, man. You know, and that's what that's about right there. The cipher was trying. You know, we're not trying. We're honoring the original sound.
Bro, y'all are doing it. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, blessings to anybody keeping the culture alive, bro. And like what you said earlier, that's real. That's our contribution to the American experience. Mm-hmm. To quote your man KRS, from around the way to around the world, bro.
That's ill. That's illmatic, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So, you know, with that said, you know, let's first hop in by talking about you and who you are and where you're from and, you know, your personal history. And, you know, let's lead up to your, you know, your credentials as a scholar, and let's set the table. So, Sharif Bey, who are you? Where do you come from? And what do you represent?
Here's the shorthand, you know, born.
Let's give me the long hand. Give me the long hand. Let's go. We go in. We got time. We got time.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, cool. I'm your brother. First and foremost, servant of humanity. Real talk, right? I was born. My name's Sharif Bey. That's me. I was born in Long Beach, California, West Coast, bro. That's why I touched down on the plane of manifest was Long Beach, California.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm a 60s baby, bro. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, anyway, moved to the East Coast to live with my father at age 4.
Okay, yeah.
At age 4, bro, came to the East Coast, you know, and raised on the East, bro. Raised on the East. Shout out to the X.
Yeah, the BX.
Nope. The
birthplace of hip-hop culture. See how it works out? So what year did you move? You said you were 4, but what year was that?
70?
70? Wow, I was born in 69.
Yeah.
So yeah, you early on. That's crazy. So, you know, you moved to New York in 70 when you were 4 years old. And, you know, what was your upbringing like? Like, from the BX, what part of the Bronx were you from?
Typical Gun Hill.
Gun Hill Road. Okay. Was that Parkchester?
Up either side, bro. From Wayne Avenue behind Montefiore Hospital, over all the way over to the other side near Pelham Bay Parkway and the Pelham Bay Diner, bro.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So coming up in the Bronx at that time, when we think of the Bronx in the 70s, we think of the South Bronx. It's burnt out. It's hood. It's it's torn down. It's bankrupt. New York is going through all types of changes.
Italian landlords torching buildings every other month.
Wow. And talk about that, because people don't understand or give credit to life's experience and how the experience of society, what's going on around you, has an impact on the individuals in the community.
I mean, it's different, bro. A large part of us is the sum of our experiences. You know what I mean? And New York in those days was especially in that area, was gladiator school, bro. I mean, that's what it was. It was gladiator school. It was. Not to say that it's not that now. Just it's a different animal now. It's a different animal now, man. The product of our dissatisfaction back in those days, we're looking at it in the flesh now. But what you see in the Bronx and in Brooklyn with drill culture and the violence that comes with it, I mean, a large part of us has to own that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, there was definitely outside help.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about the Italian and European Jewish landlords burning the buildings down to collect the insurance money. Right. When you talk about just
talk about areas like Fort Apache where it was literally the purge at a certain time of the day.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I want you to paint that picture, because we say these words, we try to explain how just the roots of our culture, especially where it comes from, and how it shapes how we see the world on all levels, culturally, socially, politically. When you're growing up in this urban blight, this neglect, this, there's no investment into the people, so when you say, gladiator school, what does that mean, gladiator school?
Well, I mean, you don't realize, let me just say this, right? Normal is relative. You know what I'm saying? Only in certain, you only get a better perspective of where you are when you have something to contrast to it. We didn't know that was gladiator school, or we didn't see it as gladiator school until we saw other than where we came up. To us, it was like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but now you live in one place, you got to go to school in another place, you got to make it from here to there, you got to get to the train station.
You know what I'm saying?
Buy your mom's, your grandmother's groceries.
And it was normal, and normal. You expected 1 to 2 fights going there and back, or at least or at least you got G-checked or you got challenged. And it was so it was like that was normal.
And then you have there's different communities in the Bronx at the time. You got of course. The Black community, but then you have the brown, Spanish community, Latin community. You have the Jewish community, the Irish community, Italian community, and these people function as groups and as gangs in their own.
The best, one of the best. The thought that just came to mind just now was the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Gangs of New York, where what you had was cohesiveness based on a common cultural identity and a common American experience. You know what I'm saying? That's what you had. And people came together based on that.
Or fought based on
that. Correct.
Right.
Correct, bro. So I mean, now it's funny you say that, see, because when you talked about how the experiences, I'm a firm believer, and there's scientific proof of this. That's a topic altogether by itself, of memory being genetically passed. You know what I'm saying? So certain experiences in your present can spark genetic memories from a previous existence.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm a firm believer firm believer, bro, that the emergence, well, we already know the history. We know, how hip hop came to be, right? I'm a firm believer that that is an upcropping of old world culture, of our old world culture as a result of being exposed to the environment in Brooklyn, the environment in the South Bronx, the environment in Harlem. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah, those things are, there's definitely genetic memory that certain experiences in the present can bring out of it.
Yeah. At what point in your life do you start, moving towards knowledge and,
Good question. Good question. Good question. Good question. First thing, I'm a lifelong martial artist. One of the first things my father did when I got to the East Coast, right, is one of the things he did, he took me to a martial arts demonstration. And it was just something in my head. I never forget at age 4, I was like, oh, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was like in the earliest part of my life, age 4, I'm almost squirting a tear about it right now, because my father, if he did nothing else at that age, he set me on my life path when he took me there, and then bought me lessons for my 5th birthday.
Wow. When you said bought you lessons from?
Shout out to the late Bernie Milton. He was my first martial arts instructor.
Okay.
Right. And that was, that was it. So
got you. So
that was at age 5.
And your father's, what's your father's nationality, ethnicity? What's your parents? Because some of us, we from here, by way of, some of us.
He was from here. He was from here.
He's from here.
He was from here. He was from here. His family,
not Caribbean, not African, not.
Well, the ethnic, like if genetically speaking, my father's ethnology or his ethnic pedigree was a mixture of Congolese and Mauritanian.
Wow.
Yes, sir. So, or let's just put it like this. From the genetic perspective, those people. But remember, genetics is dope. But genetics, right, does not take into account migration. See what I'm saying? This is important. So to try to, ethnology and genetics are 2 different sciences.
Yeah, well.
That's important. That's important point to bring out. And I bring that out, and I'll just throw this out there really quick, right? Because our brothers and sisters in West Africa, if you talk to them specifically, they'll speak about being descendants of Canaan. In other words, Canaanites, the Yemen, Southern Arabia, from thousands of years of back and forth migrations. Something to think about. Wow, in other words, even the whole Arab demonstration is a part of stolen legacy.
Mm-hmm.
We know about the Jewish thing being stolen. We don't think about the Arab demonstration being stolen either.
Yeah, I know.
See what I'm saying? But my peoples on my father's side came through the Carolinas and then through Bessemer, Alabama.
Okay.
On my mother's side, Blackfoot Indian.
Wow, crazy.
Yes,
yeah. Okay. So you
now back on the question with knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, my father again divorced my mother, left. I was born on the West Coast, left. She sent us years later to live with my father, myself, and my younger brother. Mm-hmm. Right. 3 years later, she kidnapped us off the street on our way to school.
What?
Took us back to Cali. Wow. At the time, she joined the Nation of Islam. So I did 1st and 2nd grade in Muhammad's University of Islam, Mosque 27, Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
So that was my immersion in the knowledge itself.
Yeah, Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. See, now we get a more clearer understanding. And your family was in the nation for how long? When did you come out of the nation?
Well, my mother was in the nation. I was there for about 3 years and then went back to live with my father. So I did 1st and 2nd grade there. In the nation. Fully immersed. Every morning was FOI drill before we went to class. Then FOI class on Saturdays. Like I lived that life.
Yeah. And then you went back to live with your father on the East Coast.
My father became a Christian minister, so I got immersed into that.
Wow. Now, what was that switch up? Like, how did that affect you? Did it affect you? Did you?
It definitely affected me.
How so? Like, did you reject it? Was it?
I didn't reject it. I love my father. You know what I'm saying? And that's what my father was into. But you know, you can't unring the bell. So of course I had questions. You know what I'm saying? Some of those questions he couldn't really answer.
I know exactly what she's saying.
Yeah.
Because myself, you know, we went to the nation. I was about 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
We were in there till I was about 4.
Right.
5, right? But like I was always very inquisitive. I was always trying to linger around adult conversation.
Oh yeah.
And I knew how to keep my mouth shut and just listen. Right. And so I was soaking up mad information being in the Nation of Islam.
Right.
And then, you know, also the close connection between, you know, the nation and Moors and the Moorish Science Temple.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
My mom, you know, and her girlfriends, you know, they used to hang out with some Moors. So I used to see
from the
stuff.
Birthplace. You're from the birthplace of the Moorish movement, Newark, New Jersey. Hold on, I gotta say it how y'all say it. N-O-R-K.
Newark. The new Covenant.
There you go, Newark, right? That's how. That's the birthplace. 1913 A.D. Newark, New Jersey.
Wow. So you know, soaking up a lot of information, but not really understanding.
Right.
And then I started going to a Presbyterian church with my uncle and my aunt.
You had a similar background.
So, you know, but I was like 8, 9 years old, just like dismissing all parts of the Bible. Like, oh, no, women have babies like this. This is the natural way of it. I used to just get into it, but I wasn't asking questions. I was dismissing it. Like, totally, that's not real. But enough of me. You,
teens. Up until, you know, in my teens, what do I run into? 5% Nation of Islam. So to me, that was like coming home. You know what I mean? So I walked into a law school more or less already with 120 lessons because I learned this was drilled into me. This was a part of my schooling, being at MOS 27, you know, University of Islam. So yeah, I walked into it, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to Born Wise. Y'all, his government is Kevin Wardali, Harlem, New York. That's my brother.
Salute,
right? Boy. Yeah. Born Wise is my dude, man.
Yeah. So and then when you get introduced to the Moorish Science Temple, when that happened?
College, when I came to Syracuse, New York, summer of 1991, the year, you know, the summer after my freshman year. Now, of course, we knew about the Moorish movement, or what we thought was the Moorish movement. What we thought was the Moorish movement, right? We knew that, you know, shout out to my big brother, Nakeem Bey, Harlem, New York, right? So it was through Nakeem and my other big brother, you know, the unofficial mayor of Harlem, Ralim Salahuddin El, Harlem, New York. These two brothers are the brothers that formally introduced me to the Moorish movement. And so that was 1991 when I became immersed into the whole Moorish movement, Moorish American identity, etc.
Okay. All right, so let's put a pause there, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I want to come back to that, and get into some other things related to, you know, that specifically, the Moorish Science Temple. But I want to really go into the topic of today's discussion, which is Americanism, and what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
Right? And what is an American? Because there's some very specific definitions as to what American is.
For sure.
It's opposite what we think of, you know, when we say an American, we think a European, you know.
Woo. Can I touch that really quick?
Boom, let's go. Take the ball. You got it.
Let me see. I'm going to tell you why it's just the timing. You know, we have a saying in the Moorish Science Temple of America: there are no happenings, law governs all events. In other words, ain't no such thing as coincidence. Ain't no such thing as, it is not coincidental that out of all these years that we've known each other and been talking about doing this, you hit me up now and say, hey, I want to do this, and this is going to be the topic. Brother, this is the topic. It is the topic in American society. It's this topic, bro, is at the root of why we see the overt rise or the rise of overt racial hostility. It is the root. It's at the root of why we see a rise in Islamophobia and why those two are connected. It's a reason why you see these Europeans going cuckoo right now. You see what I'm saying? It's this is at the root of it. This question and this issue of Americanism is at the root of it, bro. It really, really, really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what is an American?
It all depends. And this is what I mean. I'm not playing dodgeball. This is what I mean. Follow me, right? It all depends on context. So if we say, what is an American? Let me just jump right in. Ready? If we say, what is an American socially? This is the war. This is the war. Our people, on purpose, are blind to the fact that this is the war. Okay? It's an ideological war. So you got me jumping right to the end at the very beginning, but here it is. It's an ideological war. The war in heaven is the war for the minds of the people, bro. And it's an ideological war. It's a fight to determine who defines Americanism. Right.
So what's the Webster's dictionary definition?
Well, there's one. Okay, so you're talking about 1828 Webster's Dictionary definition of Americans, the copper-colored people. But then it says later, speaking about Europeans, right? Okay. So now the context is king. And sadly, for many, 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 many people, context is a moving target. So let's look at context. When it said American, an American is defined as the copper-colored people, that is not socio-political. That is racial ethno-specific.
Okay.
Then when it says later, Europeans, it's speaking to two things. One, socio-politically. Two, the prevailing, listen close, the prevailing social narrative. The prevailing social narrative. You understand? That is what it's speaking to. So you have two different contexts in that definition. And we get tripped up. I'm going to show you how we get tripped up. We think inhabitancy is equivalent to citizenship.
I had this discussion with my wife earlier today.
Yes, sir.
And it was, if just anybody could come in, even though we know that America, North America, South Central America are territories.
Yes.
Right. The territories, right?
Yes.
What's the right word to use? That have nations within it.
Correct.
Right.
See, now you're speaking at this point in terms of context geographically, because so from the geographic perspective, Mexicans are American citizens, Canadians are American citizens, Chileans, Venezuelans, Argentinians, and Peruvians are American citizens from the geographic perspective. You understand? Not socio-political. And remember, citizenship is a socio-political term.
Right.
Resident or denizen isn't.
So we were discussing the term illegal alien,
right? And
how it's like, how can a human being be illegal? Like, that doesn't make sense until you factor in, well, then you got, if you're gonna have borders, then you have to have some type of determination as what's a citizen and what's not a citizen.
And that's socio-political. So again, you know what we're not used to, brother? We're not used to nuanced thinking. The average when my first my first year in college, right, took one of my classes was advertising, marketing, and they asked us to bring in a local newspaper. Asked somebody to read something out of it. They read something out of it, and they said, "Sounds pretty intelligent, right?" Yeah. Fact number one, they wrote on the chalkboard. Every regular newspaper in the country is written at a 4th grade reading.
Oh, yeah,
you are being
half hour ago.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was in the thread.
We are not. We're not accustomed to nor comfortable with nuanced thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There's many facets to certain things, and if you don't catch them, then it can be absolutely fatal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, from the just from the humanist perspective, right? How can there be an illegal citizen? You're a citizen of the planet, right?
Yeah, true.
But there's rules. When I come to Hakeem Green's house and he says, "Make yourself at home," that doesn't mean have your way with my wife.
No.
It doesn't mean raid my fridge.
No.
Saying make yourself at home presumes what? That I am familiar with the general rules of citizenship,
mm-hmm.
and that in your home, you're king.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have rights. I have privileges in your home. Get it? See, these are the rules dealing with the bands of society, bro.
Okay. You just went somewhere. Okay. Now, prior to what was it? What was the year Europeans first landed here? It wasn't Plymouth Rock, but prior to their.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Can I share this? Can I share this with the audience?
Okay.
First of all, respect. We don't. Especially I'm a member of the Moorish Science Team of America. We don't talk radical about any member of any organized group, especially when it comes to our people, because then the hardest things to do is to organize for us, right? That being said, the documentary 1619, dope body of work. My major issue with it is this: 1619 is a lie. That's my major issue. The reason why, whether people know this or not, that 1619 is the date everybody pushes forward is because 1619 is dealing with English colonization of the Americas. Totally ignoring Spanish colonization of the Americas. And there's a big reason why that's ignored. So Spanish colonization went over 100 years before 1619. And I'm just going to say this and leave it there. Spain began colonizing America in what year? 1492.
Yeah, that's right. Boom.
In other words, what else happened in 1492? There you go. So Columbus was Italian, but he did it for Spain. He did it for Spain. 1492, what else happened? 2 months before Columbus, what happened?
The Spanish Inquisition.
No, well, that was part of it. Yes, that's a big part of it. But the big thing that happened was the capitulation of the last Moorish stronghold in Spain, and where we lost our political power in Spain, 1492 at Granada. So in other words, the roots of the founding of America, right, are rooted in our fall in Spain. And here's the fact. Spain and all of Europe from Spain was ruled for nearly 800 years by an African power. And that's that nobody can dispute that. So if an African power was ruling Spain for nearly 800 years and Spain colonized the Americas, who do you think else was here? Yeah. Okay, bro.
Yeah. I
mean, look up Professor Sultana Afro's work. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, they say, Christopher Columbus had the idea to come here from his west coast of Africa, where he learned how to sail.
It was a military expedition, bro. Yeah. It was a military expedition.
Oh yeah.
Here, and we can give you the proof. We give you the proof. The papal bull Dum Diversus. Dum Diversus authorized Christian nations, in particular Spain and Portugal, to seize lands formerly held by that African power or any non-Christian entity. That's why it's called Doctrine of Discovery. That's why they'll still say to this day he discovered. No, it was under Doctrine of Discovery for the Church and Crown.
Can you do me a solid? Can
Yes,
can
sir.
you put that in the comment section
For sure.
so people can follow along?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, here's another one I'll drop for you all as well. A lot of people will talk about the origin of the African transatlantic slave trade. Let's give you the actual origin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put this in the comment section as well. Dr. Nazir Ahmed speaks about it, right, in his encyclopedia on Islamic history.
Mm-hmm.
The foundation of the African transatlantic slave trade was started with an order from the Pope Eugene IV in the year 1442. That papal bull was called, I'm writing it in the comment section now. It was called Ilias Q. That's what it was called. This authorized the Portuguese military order called the Order of Christ to begin raids on the west coast of Africa. And Pope Eugene called it a new crusade against the Moors. That was the beginning. So we know in the present time that slavery was commerce. It became commerce. It was wartime. That's how it began. See, this is very important to understand because these are the this is the hidden history that keeps us, according to Herman Talmadge, at the time was governor-elect in 1946, when he was asked about the Negro problem. He said the Negroes live in a 150-year-old artificial history that prevents him from equal respect in American society. He said it plainly. Sure did.
So we didn't come over as slaves. We came over as captives of war.
Come on, bro. We were made into slaves. See, we think that our condition, the beginning of our condition was slavery. No, slavery was a consequence of our condition, bro. It was a consequence. It wasn't the beginning. It wasn't the origin of our condition. It was a consequence of it.
So, all right, that's a whole nother story. We'll have to have you back on to discuss that, in terms of what went wrong, where did it all go left? If all this, we had all this power, we had all this.
You already know, bro. You already know, bro. Let's just call it what it is.
No. Let's not even go there.
All right, cool. All right.
I won't even go there. I won't even go there. Because it's the topic of the show is America, and what is it to be an American, right? So there was a time when Americans looked totally different than they do right now. When you come here and you see Americans, they just copper tone people, reddish brown, dark reddish brown. They all didn't look alike. There were variations of these people all over the place. Add mixtures of Africans and Asians who came over. Like this idea that we've been separated for thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, and no one had connections to the other side of the globe. It's just so ridiculous. It's just,
do you know what social scientists call what you just said?
What's that?
It's called that doctrine is called isolationism. Isolationism supports white supremacy. The opposing doctrine is called diffusionism. The fact that Egyptian mummies had hair follicles tested for cocaine falls squarely into the diffusionist box. That there was cross-cultural pollination for thousands of years across the Atlantic and the Pacific.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. I mean, to me, the fact that there are pyramids all over the world shows that there was a diffusion.
Come on.
There's the knowledge, the technology, the shared.
Yes.
You carry it from one place to the next. So this, it's just
it's
it's also Pangea.
Yeah.
I just subscribe to the idea that humanity is much, 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 much older than what they tell us it is.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
So in that, we talking about 1300s, 1400s, Americans look different. And then you have these other people who come in, they do their thing, conquer, pillage, take over, and create something new. Now that's something new. Some of it was given to them by the people who lived here.
Come on, bro.
Democracy is something that was here since the 1100s with who they call the
Iroquois Six Nations.
Yeah,
the city I live in, Syracuse, New York, was the headquarters.
Ooh,
the Iroquois Six Nations. Bro.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
the headquarters.
Wow.
Headquarters. That's fact.
Yeah. So you read Benjamin Franklin, you read Thomas Jefferson, you read Madison. All these people talk about how they learned the democratic form of government because the six tribe nation, they had a Supreme Court, which was the elders.
Yes, sir.
They had an executive, which was the chief.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a council that was comprised of representatives from all the different nations. You know what I mean? That's the House of Representatives, which is our sit-in house. Mm-hmm. So, this government, its form is not theirs, it's ours. But then
in principle.
Now, I say that not as it's functioning now.
Right. Also, too, let me throw this out there, too.
Uh-huh.
Right? Let me throw this out there, and this may sound radical, but it's definitely on what we're talking about. The topic, Americanism.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the government's ours, bro. Government's ours. But here's the problem. Hawk has a car. He don't drive it, though.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. See, the car don't drive itself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I said that to say there's this idea in our community that the state is something else. It's something foreign. It's something against me.
And brother, and brother, I get it, and I fully understand. If you are a third generation, because most of us our age, like we're 50. I'm 54. I'll be 55 next month.
Yeah, I'll be 53 in February.
Yeah. So our age and those younger than us, bro, you came into a world where you were born socially, economically, and politically disenfranchised. So you never felt like you were a part of the demonstration. So it's very easy to believe that you're not a part. And that is the primary objective of racism, people. Racism isn't here to kill us off. Forbes Business School back in 2016 reported that our people in America that year spent $1.6 trillion, bro. You don't throw away good batteries. Are you kidding?
He said you don't throw away good batteries. We keeping the joint going.
Come on, bro. We've been keeping, as far as I can remember, especially since hip hop, especially since the early 90s. Right.
We've been keeping this joint going.
Bro, we do keep it going. Hold on. I'm going to give you another example. Socially, we keep it going. Bro, let's talk music. Right? And I think these numbers are still sound. Right? Here we go. Urban music accounts for at least 33% of worldwide music sales annually. 33. You know how much money that is? Yeah. But here in America and in other Western nations, but let's just talk America, we know that it's not really us buying it. Mm-hmm. We know it's European suburbia buying it.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy part. In large part, they only buy what the hood says is hot. See what I'm saying? Who has the power and who gives it away? See?
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. Right.
Ain't that crazy?
So, okay. Now, this other thing that was created, right? Okay, we have 3 branches of government, executive,
legislative, and judicial.
Legislative, right? And then we have federal, state, county.
And then municipalities for off the state.
In municipalities.
That's right.
Okay. So in terms of who is an American and who should participate and how they should participate. Because there's this thing, this behemoth, this big monster that's been created to come get me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
yes.
you know, the idea of voting as a block, pooling economic resources, right? It goes by, and it's simple too. It's not real hard. Like I tell people, like if you started a book club and you meet every 3 months, 4 months, right? Do that for like a year, and then go to a city council meeting.
Yes. Yes.
Take your like get 15 people. 15 people represents how many voters? Because 15 people times they influence.
You already know, bro. Come on, bro. See, hold on. I got goosebumps right now, like literal goosebumps. And I'm going to tell you why. Whether you realize it or not, and I don't know if your audience does, but I'm going to tell them. You're now talking about like, okay, take the Kung Fu movie, right? Fist of the White Lotus, right? What happened at the end of the movie? He kills White Lotus. Why? Because he found the vital nerve. What you're talking is the vital nerve. You want to talk about dangerous knowledge? That's dangerous. That's what the European status quo considers dangerous. That's why they're in 47 states right now. There's voter suppression legislation trying to get passed. That's the vital nerve, people. That's the vital nerve. You know why? And I'll explain it very simply. And you already know this, Hot, because you've been involved. That's why you can speak the way you're speaking about it. You've been involved. You get it, right? Government is management. Government and politics are not the same thing. Government is management. What is it managing? Your money, my money, the public pot. What public pot is that? Taxes. That's what it is. You see, 80% of a city's money comes from taxes. The other 20% is property performance of its properties. You see? So that's public money. Government manages that on behalf of the people. That's what it does. Politics is dirty because politics is the ongoing PR campaign to determine who manages the money. And if you manage the money, what are you doing? You are shaping the social climate for people. That's why we said you can say GOD means good government for the people.
Doesn't mean gold, oil. Oh, sorry.
No, it could be. I mean, but again,
gold, oil, and drugs.
Sadly, nowadays. Sadly, nadays, yeah. And but more importantly, who manages those things? You see? Yeah. Who manages those things? You know, so that's what government is, and that's what politics is, right? You entering into the game, and that's the beauty of the American system. Remember, the American system is a car, it's not a person. The American system of government is a vehicle, you see? And so when you enter in the game, you get to drive the vehicle, or to a degree, or you get your say in where it goes. So the fight is for the control of the vehicle.
Okay, so while we're in this vehicle, let me make a left turn. What's the difference between, ready?
Ready.
The government and the corporation?
You're about to get me in trouble. Here we go. Now I'm going to say something a lot of people are not going to like. Okay, we could always discuss it, right? The United States is not a corporation. I know it's going to people like, no, of course. You got to read Title 28, United States Code, Section 3002. Bro, if you share your screen right now, I'll disprove the whole thing in 3 minutes. But I don't want to get it. That's another topic. That's another topic. Okay. If the I'll put it to you like this, bro. If the United States was a corporation, if it was, then everything we're talking about right now means nothing. Means absolutely nothing.
So, all right.
Because we would have to talk to the incorporating authority. You go into business.
All right. Well, when I walk into the mayor's office,
Yes.
right? And I walk in the city hall. There's
Right.
a big seal on the wall that says incorporated in so and so year.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
says
yeah.
it
No,
in
no,
the
no,
big.
brother,
Right,
brother,
so it's
brother. A
incorporated.
municipality is a corporation. A municipality. But remember, states are admitted to the union by a congressional act, bro. They're not incorporated.
States are not incorporated.
No.
Wow.
They're admitted. Remember, we learned this, or we should have learned this in social
That's
studies.
right. We should have.
A
Yep.
state is admitted to the union.
That's
It's a
right.
congressional act that does that.
That's right.
There is no incorporation document for the states.
See, that's why I got you. That's why I got you on this show, bro. That's why I got you on this show.
Yes, sir.
Because it's like, it's a lot of stuff that we did learn in school, or we should have learned in school.
We should have learned. But see,
But
brother, there's a reason why
we get these pieces of misinformation.
Yes, there's a reason why.
It sound good. It sound good too. Sound good.
Yeah. But we have to. We all deserve, especially now, man, because the destruction at the destruction's already started. It's already started. The blood is starting to rise, bro. We deserve accurate information, because inaccurate information nowadays can be absolutely fatal. You know what I mean? Absolutely fatal. We deserve right information.
So the United States of America, all capital letters, and the United States of America, United States
bro, at the very least
of America.
At the very least, that is chasing, bro. At the very least, that's chasing your tail. You chase your tail all day, get nowhere. Put you on a hamster wheel. That's what that is, bro. That's what that is. Put you on a hamster wheel. You never get. See, when you were talking about engaging the system, right, and treating it as if it's yours, bro. You want to see the status quo get nervous? See, that's how you know, bro. If we're fighting and I punch you in the stomach and you just look at me like whatever, right? But then I catch you in the jaw and you're like, whoa, and you get nervous and you start putting, I know where to hit you now. The reaction of the adversary tells me what gives me my strategy. You understand? So when these dudes, you can Google this right now. These words, the audience can do it right now as I'm saying it, right? Google, put in the search engine, kill, right? Incarcerate, prevent from voting. Those three things, put in the search engine right now. You'll see a news article pop up about a white supremacist organization that has ties to law enforcement across the country, saying that that's their strategy. See that?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vital nerve, bro. I promise you it is. And I want to show the audience something. I want to share my screen if I'm able to, bro.
I
want to show you all something.
I think you can.
Okay, hold on. You want to talk, since we're talking Americanism, what I'm about to show you is something you've probably never seen before, and it's American history, people. It's American history. Give me just a second. Hold on.
Yeah. The reason why I titled the show that is because this is where we live.
Yes.
Know? And we live in America. Our roots are here in America.
Right.
If you're an immigrant, you wanted to be here in America.
Yes.
You could go other places. I encourage people to travel all the time. And if you decide to set your roots somewhere else, God bless you. I'm with you. And that's not to say that I may not ever travel abroad and make my make home somewhere else. But right now, I'm here in America.
Come on, brother.
I'm in America.
Man. Come on.
My people are here in America. I love my people here in America.
That's right. That's right.
Al Tariq in the building. What up, JT? What up, Valerie?
Can you all see my screen?
Nope.
No?
No.
Hold on. You can't. Oh, hold on. Yeah, entire screen. Here, let me cancel it. Let me try it again. Make sure you click share on the modal and not cancel. Let's try it again. Share screen.
What up, Will? Peace.
It's not letting me share, bro.
Want me to try?
Yeah.
Okay, where am I going to?
Well, I'm not sure. You may have to enable me to do so.
Oh man. Oh, it's something that you have on your.
Yeah, it's not letting me.
It's not a YouTube or something I can just.
Right. Let me try one more time.
And you didn't put that information in the comment section, man.
Hold on. I got you, bro. Here we go. Now you guys can see it. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so. Pow.
Got it?
Yeah, it's up.
All right, I'm going to read this. This is from a book called Lincoln's Philosophy of Common Sense by Edward Kempf.
Mm-hmm.
Listen close. Now, mind you, hold on. Let me back up. Let me give context. This was off the heels of Scott v. Sanford, 1857. In other words, the Dred Scott case.
Dred Scott.
The Dred Scott case, and here's the big mistake. People are very familiar with Chief Justice Taney's opinion, not ruling, opinion. Chief Justice Taney was a Confederate. So in his opinion, he was pushing the Confederate sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
So Justice Curtis wrote a dissenting opinion, and he tore Taney up with real history.
Mm.
What you have here is a quote from Lincoln's inaugural address in 1861, where he addresses this. So I'll read it. I have said in substance that the Dred Scott decision was in part based on assumed historical facts which were not really true, and I ought not to leave the subject without giving some reason for saying this. I therefore give as instance or two which I think fully sustain me. Chief Justice Taney, in delivering the majority opinion of the court, insists at great length that Negroes were no part of the people who made and for whom was made the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution of the United States. On the contrary, Justice Curtis, in his dissenting opinion, shows that in 5 of the 13 states, to wit, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, and North Carolina, free Moors were voters and in proportion to their numbers had the same part in making the Constitution that the white people had. He shows this with so much peculiarity as to leave no doubt of its truth. And as a sort of conclusion on that point holds the following language. Now he's quoting Justice Curtis. The Constitution was ordained and established by the people of the United States through the action in each state of those people who were qualified by its laws to act thereon in behalf of themselves and all of the citizens of the state. In some of the states, we have seen Moorish persons were among those qualified by law to act on the subject. These Moorish persons were not only included in the body of we the people of the United States, by whom the Constitution was ordained and established, but in at least 5 of the states, they had the power to act, and doubtless did act, by their suffrages upon the question of its adoption. You have never heard that before in history class. And there's a reason why you've never heard that. Because as Governor Talmadge had said in 1946, we're living in artificial history. A big part of that artificial history is that our people came here as slaves. That's it. That's all. And all you got is up from slavery. That's a lie. We fell from the constitutional standard. Not we were never part of it. We fell from it, bro. See that?
Amen.
And see, here's the thing. They didn't want that known publicly. But Curtis, it wasn't that Justice Curtis was a big fan of our people. Justice Curtis just was enemies with Taney and enemies with the idea of the Confederates. So he revealed something nobody really wanted to reveal just to get at him. You've all seen people cut off their nose to spite their face. That's what that was.
That's ill. That's
Sir.
ill. Yeah, you've never heard that.
No.
The admittance that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Ain't that something, bro?
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Thank you for that one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so this whole idea of land versus the body that's on the land.
Good question. Inhabitancy versus citizenship, not the same things. They're not mutually exclusive, or they're not synonymous. And so when we think they're synonymous, then we run into fatal errors.
Okay, so describe the differences in them and how we get them confused.
I'm at Hakeem's house. It's a house. I'm a human being. Why can't I help myself to Hak's wife? Get it now? So I'm an inhabitant, but there are rules in society. And when people come together to live together harmoniously, there has to be a set of rules that we all agree to. Get it? In other words, the whole demonstration of citizenship is social science. The law comes from social science. See?
All right. So, social science. Break it down for the people. Layman's terms.
People think, okay, here we go. People think, follow me on this. People think that there was some law, right, that made our people second-class citizens, or some law that makes us citizens. Well, if that's the case, what law made the founding fathers citizens?
All right, so what is the 13th
There
Amendment?
is no law that makes you a citizen. You get it?
So
it wasn't until the Dred Scott case.
So the 13th and 14th Amendment, what's that about then?
I'm glad you brought that up. 13th Amendment abolished involuntary servitude. We already know that's another story. That's another show dealing with the prison industry, right? 13th Amendment abolished involuntary servitude with one exception. What's the exception? You get locked up. Now slavery's legal, right? Okay. The 14th and 15th Amendment, here's something else a lot of people may get upset about, but this is just the truth. The 14th Amendment did not grant citizenship to Black people. It did not do that. Let me give you the number one reason why it didn't do that. This is the United States of America. Citizenship is based on allegiance, people. Can't nobody write up a piece of legislation and say, poof, pow, all these people are citizens. It's not how it works. Again, basic social studies.
All right. So then what was the need for the 13th and 14th Amendment? If that's
Here we go.
What was
ready? You ready?
What was doing?
More history. Here we go. The end of the Civil War. The South, matter of fact, hold on a second. I'm going to show you a book all of you need to get. Hold on. Oh, where is it? Hold on. Oh, there we go. These two books.
Okay.
Shout out to my brother Shem God. Show y'all what I'm working with.
Yeah, you
Mice and Kings, Old Morocco.
You put Papal Bull, Ilias Qui.
Yeah, Ilias QA also too.
Yeah.
I'll be right the other one.
Yeah, you put it in the private chat. You just put it in the public chat. So
where's the public chat, bro?
I don't
see
it.
Yeah.
On the side of your screen, you don't have a menu that says comments banner. No,
comments. My bad. Hold on. Can I comment? I'm not sure if I can comment though. I'm trying.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah, it's not letting me. Hold on. Nope, not letting me, bro. Let me see.
Right,
yes, it's not letting me comment for some reason.
Copy and paste.
Here, I'll put it in the private chat. You copy and paste it. Hold on. Diversus. Look up that one. Look up Romanus Pontifex. Look up Treaty of Tordesillas. Boom. All of those comprise what became called the Doctrine of Discovery. It is this that connects, in terms of struggle in the Americas, people of African descent and our brothers and sisters that are indigenous to American soil. Doctrine of Discovery is the real connection.
All right. Explain why.
Here we go. Now, here's the thing. My brother, Norris Branham, you know Norris, right?
Norris shot the video that I began the show with.
It's my brother.
Yeah, of course.
Right? It's my brother. So Norris.
Turtle gang. Salute.
Yeah, salute. So he can, you know, again, the Native American community is very, very intimately familiar with Doctrine of Discovery. What is not well known is that the beginnings of Doctrine of Discovery started with the war against our people that became the African transatlantic slave trade. The proof of which is these papal bulls I am showing you here.
All right. So, just for clarity's sake, because when you say our people, you're referencing those of us who came over via the Atlantic slave trade.
And those of us that came with Spanish conquistadors. And those of us that were already here. Am I saying that Native Americans are Moors? No. Again, it's more nuanced than that. It's more nuanced than that. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about Abu Bakr II in the early 14th century. Okay. Abu Bakr II, not one, two expeditions to the Americas. First one had 200 ships. Right? Now we're talking 1300s. Right? Those are Africans from present-day Mali going to the Americas. Hold on. 100.
That's Mansa Musa's uncle.
Yes. Yes.
So just to give people an anchor point.
That's fact.
Mansa Musa, we know, is the richest man in history.
Even today.
Even today. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. No. Mansa Musa is the richest man in the history of the world.
That's right.
He was got so much paper, and he went on a Hajj from West Africa, Mali, across to Mecca.
Gave so much gold away.
Stopped off in Egypt.
Yep.
Just on some 2 week, we just gonna chill, lamp it out here. Dropped so much money on them when they left, it disrupted their economy for like 10 years.
10 years. That's fact. That's fact.
Yeah, their economy was screwed for 10 years.
Yeah. Actual fact. So Abu Bakr, 2 expeditions to the Americas, right? Early 14th century. So you're talking early 1300s, right? 100 some odd years later, now you've got Africans from Spain and North Africa here. Hold on. They encounter the descendants of those Malians. What would those Malians be? African or Native American? Again, this thing is more nuanced. It ain't that simple. We got to take it upstairs. We got to come upstairs with our thinking. See? Man. There was an ancient melting pot in the Americas before the European colonized it. And that's the answer.
See, that's a whole other conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you have inhabitants or people of the land.
Yes.
And then you have this other thing that exists that you need citizenship to be a part of.
Yeah, because that's society. Here, another thing for the people to add more nuance to your thinking and your research. There's natural geography. Mm-hmm. There's political geography.
Okay.
They're not the same.
Right.
For instance, you and I are in our 50s. Once upon a time, you could open up an encyclopedia and see the USSR.
Mm-hmm. Can't see that anymore.
How about that? How about that? How about that? See my point?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Egypt, ancient Egypt, today's present Egypt is a mere neighborhood compared to what ancient Egypt was. Mm-hmm. See, we live in the age of nation states. You understand? The last empire in the modern era was the British Empire.
So American empire doesn't count?
No. America acts like an empire. It's a nation state that acts like an empire.
Well, I don't understand.
Yeah. So.
I mean, when the whole world is running around the dollar, not anymore.
No, bro. I agree. We're talking. So America is a nation state, just like Mexico is a nation state. Like you have the Organization of American States, OAS. So we're talking about nations on American soil, right? So America's a nation state, technically. America acts like an empire. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, they're not states, they're possessions. See?
Yeah, but when I take the empire, when the world, not the entire globe, but when a large is using the dollar as the determinant of their economy,
I agree with you. I agree.
And socially and culturally, it's
Bro, no, listen. I agree. I agree. America acts. It's called hegemony. That's what it's called. So it's called. It acts like an empire.
Right, so I'm trying to understand the nuance of acting like one as opposed to being one.
You'll never hear You'll never hear any American leaders say that America is an empire.
They won't admit it.
Now you hear
they won't admit it.
Right. But
right.
So I'm not going to argue. Listen, here's my thing. I'm not going to argue the point. I'm going to be like America's a nation. Acts like an empire, though. Nobody can argue with that. Yeah, nobody can argue with that. America's a nation. Now, point of history. The first nation state in the world. In other words, the first entity, political entity to move from empire and kingdom and dominion to nation state. Guess what it was? Spain. When King Ferdinand of Aragon, the Kingdom of Aragon, and Queen Isabella of Castile married, formed the first nation state on the planet, Spain. That's actual fact history. History.
Okay, I'm asking a question. I'm trying to understand.
No, go. Ask, please.
Right. I'm not debating either. I'm just asking a question. How is that like their marriage made Spain a nation state and not
because it combined the two kingdoms. That's the creation of Spain. And the whole purpose of it was to oust our forefathers out of Spain. It culminated, the success of that marriage and that union is what facilitated our fall in Granada in 1492. Guess what Europeans called it? You ready? This is what they called the marriage of Ferdinand and Isabella, the second coming of Christ. Get a book called The Dogs of God by James Reston Jr. It talks all about it. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, please. Wow, okay. So you have these different world powers vying for control over this place we call America.
Yes. Oh, I didn't answer hold that question, brother. I'm sorry. I didn't answer an earlier question regarding 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment. 13th. Everybody needs to get these books. Please get this book. The Bloody Shirt by Stephen Budiansky.
Okay.
Get this book. The Wars of look at those faces. The Wars of Reconstruction.
Oh yeah.
By Douglas Egerton. Get them.
Yeah.
Get them. They'll give you a huge amount of proper perspective on real history. Now, that being said, the 14th and 15th Amendment did not grant citizenship to our people or grant us the right to vote. It's a lie. This is what it did. When the South lost, right? When the Confederacy lost, they were reabsorbed back into the Union. But they had to reconstruct their state constitutions. Remember, they succeeded and tried to form their own nation.
Yeah.
Okay? Notice I said try. In the congressional records, it's never called the Civil War because Congress is unable. Congress doesn't have the power to even recognize them as an independent nation. It's called the rebellion. Now, when they were reabsorbed back in the Union, there were conditions. That is why the 14th and 15th Amendment are called the incorporation doctrine in law school, because the contingency was that they had to ratify 14th and 15th Amendment. They were force ratified, and federal troops were quartered in the southern states to do it. And follow me. So the 14th and 15th Amendment, it didn't grant citizenship. This is what it did. It impaired the states in creating any laws that would not recognize your citizenship. It was protection. That's what it was. And then they put federal troops there. How in the world do you think this happened? Where our people controlled over 60% of the southern state legislatures by 1870. That means you were voting by the thousands, and hundreds of our people ran for office and won. See, what you're looking at now, remember we said government is management. You want to talk about all these cities run by our people like Rosewood, like Wilmington, North Carolina, like all these cities. Now you're looking at how it happened. That's what happens when your people look like you control the money. All right.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
For sure.
Yes, sir. That's what happened. So the 14th and 15th Amendment didn't grant us citizenship. The 14th and 15th Amendment kept the southern states protected. Yes. So that whole thing, he's a 14th Amendment citizen. No, that was a conceit used by European Confederate sympathizers because they didn't want to recognize you as a birthright citizen. See?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, mind you, again, this is called Americanism.
Yes.
Get it?
Yes, I get it.
As you know, we're exploring what it is to be an American.
Yes.
And here you have the Johnny come latelys trying to dictate on who's an American.
They did a good job. Look at where we are now.
Look at where we are now. When we look at this history of West Africa, we look at the history of the Moors and the interaction between continents, Europe, Africa, and the Americas, and Asia, for that matter.
Yes.
What we've given, we look at the Iroquois, teaching these people, giving these people, even the story of Plymouth Rock. The story is about Native Americans, the indigenous people here giving, and then the slaughter came right after.
No doubt. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, it's an ongoing history. And even when we see today what's going on with, everything from Eric Garner, Mike Brown, Sandra Bland, this goes on and on and on.
Yes.
With George Floyd.
Yes. It's on the increase, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's on the increase. But
it's not that it's on the increase. It's just that it's visible because of social media and everybody at camera.
But hold on, brother. It's on the increase. I want to tell you what it's on the increase in this respect.
Okay.
Right? There's no reason if I'm fighting you, I'm fighting you for a reason. If I'm fighting you and you're not fighting me back, because let's just keep it 100. Our people are sitting on our hands.
Yeah.
We're sitting on our hands. I'm not saying we should be fighting other people back. I'm not saying that. And there's a reason. I'm going to get to why I'm not saying that. Right? I'm not saying that because we don't have to. I'll get back to that. But here's my point. We're sitting on our hands. We're out to lunch. Our people are out to lunch, sadly. So why are these people going so hard? Why are they going so hard if we're out to lunch?
Because I'll tell you why. Because there's an inevitability about life.
I like that.
And there's prophecies that.
Can I share my screen? Can I share my screen? And you keep talking. You keep talking.
It's just for some reason, just these different prophecies just keep coming true. Like they said that was going to happen 30 years ago. Look, they said that was going to happen 100 years ago. Look, they said, so it's like, the complexion of this country is changing like that. And it's just the numbers of this country is changing. The demographics are changing. So you can't do anything about it. You can fight, you can burn, you can insurrect, you can do all that. It's the inevitable. You just warding off the inevitable.
Let me share, bro. I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm gonna show you all something. Right? Here we go. You can see the screen?
I got you.
American racism's unsustainability. Here are the major contributing factors. You just mentioned it. Changing population demographics. Let me pause there for a second. In every major urban center in the country, what do you have? Gentrification.
Yep.
You know why you have gentrification? Because back in the 60s with the civil rights movement, Europeans went crazy and you had white flight. They left the urban centers, moved out to the burbs, took the money with them. But they worked in the urban center, right? What happened as a result? Population-wise, the urban centers started leaning in our favor. What do you have now? What you have now is in most major urban centers, we outnumber Europeans. So remember what we said the vital nerve was? Political engagement, civic engagement. That means you could vote. That means government, let's say in the urban center, should reflect the demographic of the people.
That's real.
Right? And if you're the majority, that means you could do it overnight if you organized politically. See that?
1000%.
So what do you see now? Europeans retaking the urban centers. They're trying to dilute the potential political power. That's what it is. Flat out.
Yeah.
Flat
And we are totally out to lunch.
We're out to lunch. We're out to lunch. We're watching them do it. See?
Yeah.
Here's the second one, bro. New emerging identity guidelines. Why is that important, people? I'll just cut straight to it. The basis of racism is the color code classification system, people.
Okay.
What it is. That is the foundation of it. It is a caste system operating in the open. You have to ask yourself, how did German Americans, Italian Americans, Irish Americans, how the hell did they become white? Got to ask yourself that.
Okay, so when you say that, when you say white, what do you mean by that? White, black. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay, let me skip to another screen. By the way, what I'm showing you is slides from a presentation that I do for professional educators on racism, the real truth behind racism, right? The real truth. Here we go. See this slide? This is the federal government's Office of Management and Budget Federal Directive 15. Race and ethnic standards in federal statistics and administrative reporting. This is the standard that determines what the boxes are that they have you click or check when it comes to race and ethnicity. I want you to look at the right of the screen. I want you to look at the definitions they give for black and the definition they give for white. Black, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Hold on. Didn't you learn in grade school that you cannot use the word you're defining in your definition? Okay, now let's look at white. White, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. You don't believe me? Talk to any of your Sudanese or Libyan immigrant friends and ask them when they came through immigration and naturalization what they were classified as. They darker than you and me, bro. See the game being played? All right. It's a game. Ain't got nothing to do with genetics. Nothing. See? This thing is crazy. So I bring this up to say this, bro, and you already know where we stand with the Moorish movement. The real issue when we get to this point, new emerging identity guidelines. The real issue is identity crisis, not up from slavery. That's the real issue. Artificial history, people, because of an artificial identity.
All right. Ooh. You said not up from slavery.
No. Slavery was a consequence of our issues, not the cause. See that? See?
In the cause.
The cause was loss of identity.
One more time.
That's the cause. Japanese Americans were interned in internment camps. They went in Japanese, came out Japanese. What happened to us? Went in kittens and came out biscuits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every nation has suffered slavery. Not every nation has suffered what we call ethnocide, meaning the erasure of your memory.
Yeah. 1,000%. We became a totally new people.
Erasure of your memory. That's right, bro. You kill the soul, leave the body. That's called a zombie.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Yes, sir. But here, I want you to look at this part. This is all to your point, what you said about destiny, bro. This is what we're talking about now is another part of the vital nerve. This is why January 6th happened. This is why the European who shot up the mosques in New Zealand, he wrote it in his manifesto.
Let's go.
He literally said it. He said, I'm trying to start a race war because, we got to save ourselves. We're losing it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Look at this one. I want you to look at this one. Economic crises bred from racial inequality.
Yeah, man. It's not good for business.
Bro, look at this small print. I'm going to read it. McKinsey & Company estimated in a recent report that by closing the racial wealth gap created by systemic racism, the U.S. gross domestic product could be 4 to 6% higher by 2028. In nominal dollars, consumption and investment will cost the U.S. economy between $1 trillion and $1.5 trillion between 2019 and 2028. That's roughly $2,900 to $4,300 in GDP per capita. Effectively, racism is costing white Americans $2,900 to $4,300 for every man, woman, and child. By missing out on that 4 to 6% growth, white people are robbing themselves of a lot of money, job opportunities, promotions, and even a higher standard of living than they have today. You understand? This whole black-white thing is killing America. Who would have thought that the number one social issue America is facing right now is you and your condition?
Wow.
They can't sustain whiteness, people. It's going the way of the dinosaur. And that's why they're fighting so hard. Now we get back to why it's so important. The issue is who gets to determine what Americanism is moving forward.
Right.
See?
Exactly. And so April 28th to May 1st, we're having the National Black Political Convention in Newark, New Jersey. It's the 50th anniversary of the one that was in 1972 in Gary, Indiana.
Yes, sir.
Convened by the late Amiri Baraka and others. So Ras Baraka doing this, in Newark, New Jersey, 50 years later, just is a beautiful thing. Yes, and, we're looking to bring all parts of our community to Newark, New Jersey from around the country.
Bro, I'm there, bro.
To come up with a Black agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm there. Bro, last time I saw Ross, man, when you see him again or speak to him again, tell him, say, yo, do you remember 2004 when this little short, big head dude who was living in upstate from the BX, did an event in Harlem that brought 200 Bloods and Damus and Stones together.
Wow.
And he brought up 20 Damus from Newark, New Jersey.
And that's
he was the deputy mayor at the time.
2004.
2000, that was 04. Shout out to Nat Turner, my brother. Shout out to, we brought Pee Wee, I'm sorry, Pee Wee Kirkland showed up. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Nice.
It's crazy. Pee Wee Kirkland showed up. Shout out to my brother J-Lo, Joshua Bey, he was there. He represented. Nation of Islam covered it. The Final Call newspaper wrote about it. Wow. It was big. Nice. It was big. Shout out to my brother Luca Brazzi, man. Harlem Stand Up. He was there. He helped out with the event as well.
Yeah, man. So when we talk about organizing blocks of people, political blocks, right?
Yes.
Power in numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
We've had discussions in the past about Noble Drew Ali.
Yes, sir.
And his focus on
that's what he did.
Right. So to talk about some of that
okay.
Right there.
Let's bring up one guy in particular, political powerhouse. He was what was called in the 20s a race man. In other words, basically gangsters that controlled the underworld that parlayed them into political careers and took care of the people. The man's name was Oscar the Priest. Oscar the Priest was the first of our people to be elected to Congress since Reconstruction. History. Oscar the Priest was put over the top by the votes coming from the Moorish Science Temple of America, bro. That's the fact. Prophet Noble Drew Ali organized a vote block. He called it a free national ballot. He organized a vote block of over 3,000 of our people. This is in 1928. This was before the Voting Rights Act of 1965, people. This was 1928. Over 3,000 of our people voted and voted for people at the national level all the way down to the local level. It's a whole slate. See? What we're talking, in other words, Hawk, what you're talking about doing, what we're talking about, he already laid the blueprint. He did it already. And he did it at a time when there was still the reckless eyeball laws on the books. You look at a European woman and get strung up. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? You got to think about that. You want to talk about guts?
So, so there's the theory of it, and then there's the how do you actualize it? Like how did he put it in play?
Here it is, right? And it is this simple, but it's harder for us now because our people were more politically active back then. It's harder for us now because you're talking about redlining, you're talking about Jim Crowism and all this other stuff.
But it was our vote that swung the election. Wasn't
it? Actual fact. At that time, yes. I'm talking about now in the present.
Well, even now in the present. With Biden, wasn't it the black vote that won him?
Oh, shout out to Stacey Abrams. Shout out to Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams did a thing. Of course, we ain't benefiting from it, and I'm going to tell you why. You ready?
Yeah.
Because as great a job as our sister Stacey Abrams did in organizing, you have to organize people based on an agenda. In other words, here I'm gonna hip hop history. Matter of fact, I'm gonna quiz you, bro. Right? What song changed the dynamic between MC and DJ? At one point, it was the DJ, and the MC hyped up the DJ. When did that begin to switch?
Rapper's Delight.
Yeah, but even more significantly, Melly Mel and the Message.
Okay, Message. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Broken Glass everywhere. You know the rest of the story. What did that do? When I look outside my window in Syracuse, New York, I see the same thing that Hawk sees in Newark, New Jersey. The same thing our brother sees, my dude GQ, the teacher in Chicago, shout out, sees when he looks out his window. In other words, your issues are my issues. We have common issues because we have a common American experience. So we come together and organize, and we come up with a strategy to address our issues. Then you organize voting power behind that agenda. Then you buy a politician with your voting power. That's how you do it. You see what I'm saying? Stacey, in her organizing, there was no agenda. So it was like, we'll get you in there, hoping you're going to do something for us when you get in there. That's not how you play the game.
Yeah, it's actually Clyburn was the hand that was like, when Clyburn said, "This is Joe's our guy," everybody was like,
you're correct, bro.
Joe's our guy. And then
correct. You see what he's done for the Asian Americans. You see what he's done for all kinds of people. What is he doing for us? I'm sorry, not. And hey, I'm not talking party politics either, because we don't play party politics. We play people politics. But you know, hey. But that's because we didn't come to the table with an agenda.
No.
Yeah.
See, okay, so they say, "Oh, there's no leadership. There's no leadership." No, there's leadership. We vote them in. They're elected.
Come on, bro. That's fact.
Right. And then we look at the battles that I mean, it was tough in this last election. This last national election gets rougher by the moment because of all the tricks being played, all the shenanigans, all the lot went on under Trump. And
oh Jesus,
it's like,
bro, I'm gonna quote my brother Nat Turner.
And the Democrats are just such nice people that they don't know how to. It's like they don't know how to get dirty. So there's like this $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that just got passed, even though it was supposed to be 3.5 and it could have been 5 trillion. But I mean, we've never seen anything like this, right? And there are things, I can't recite them, no
doubt.
But there are things specifically pointed toward the African American community as a benefit through this bill. I'm not saying it's reparations.
Right.
I'm not saying
here's our problem, Hawk. Here's our problem when it comes to that. Okay. It's our perspective because of being disenfranchised for generations. It's our perspective on government. We think, respectfully, our people in general think that government is welfare. We think government is a social services program. Just bring me the check. That's what we think, and it's wrong. That's wrong. If we follow me, if government is in America, the American system is government for the people, by the people, which it is. It's a Republican form of government, which it is, which means elect government run by the people by way of their elected representatives. That's what it is. That's what a republic is. That means that the government officials are our employees. They're our employees. When do you let the employee run the show when you go to sleep in the office? Come on, man. We're not involved. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, take your place in the affairs of men. In other words, handle your business. And that's what. So what are we doing? We'll get mad at Biden. We'll get mad at Trump. We'll get mad at whoever because they didn't give me anything. That's not what they do.
Okay.
Now, to your point with the infrastructure bill, they create opportunity for. That's what government does. It creates windows for your self-determination, your collective self-determination.
Well, there's like, all right, so with the cannabis situation, because all we do is spark madism. So
no doubt.
What's going on in New Jersey right now is incredible.
Yes.
Like what they did in Illinois is incredible.
Yes.
And Jersey followed what Illinois did, and it's targeting African Americans.
You know why too, right?
Black and brown. Restorative justice, right? Yes. So, I'm like, wow, okay. And through my work with the city of Newark, New Jersey, with my peace initiatives, having to set up a company to do business with the city, but for all the right reasons, to push peace.
Of course.
There's like government and control of government is important.
Yes.
It's extremely important.
Yes.
So I hear people who, and you know what? Honestly, I used to be one of those people. I thought the state was the boogeyman. It was out to get me. Right. But then I figured out that the whole conspiracy theory community is really just a creation to talk you out of your own empowerment.
Brother, it's another form of control, bro.
Yeah.
It's another form of control. Like I said, it's the hamster wheel. Is to keep you from getting involved.
That's right. That's exactly right. As I figured that out, and because of my work in Newark, New Jersey, with Ras Baraka, seeing his going from South Ward councilman, where he was once the deputy mayor, but his political activity, and then turning that into being the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, the executive. You know, I saw people power in action. I saw organization, grassroots organization across the board in and around Newark to get behind this person and what he had to represent, to who he had to represent to, who he was accountable to. It was our people. I saw it happen in Newark, New Jersey.
Isn't it beautiful, bro? Isn't it beautiful?
Oh my God, it's phenomenal.
Shout out to, speaking of beautiful, shout out to our sister, beautiful Ciasia.
Peace to the queen. Peace to the queen. Yeah, peace. So that showed me, you know, how government's supposed to work. And, you know, you reminisce when you were back in school and you learned all this stuff.
Right.
You're like, man, yeah, like, oh, they never taught us. Yes, they did. You
weren't
paying attention.
That's right. That's
you know
right.
I mean? Johnny Scott in the building. Yeah, man. So yeah, what is an American? That is today's topic.
See, we're in a position. What we're looking at is the very same transition period that happened with our forefathers and the European forefathers in Spain. It's starting to happen now in reverse.
Wait a minute, say that one time.
Remember, here we go, some history. There's a term called the Reconquista. The Reconquista was the 500-year period where Europeans were trying to take back Europe from us. They succeeded in 1492.
There you go.
What we're seeing today is a similar situation in reverse. This history that we know about Spain, they know about. They know this history. They know we enslaved them first. They don't talk about it publicly because white supremacy won't allow you to do that. If you admit that people that look like us enslaved people that look like them before they did it to us, and concurrent to them doing it to us, actual history, then you can never say you were always superior.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's man, how can I put this? So when we say us and our and we, right? And you look at the complexion, not complexion, you see the diversity in us, right? And when I say diversity, I mean on all levels: racial diversity, educational aptitude, mental health, like, you know, there's some of us who are new, there's some of us who are old, there's some of us who don't think they're us,
Correct.
And that goes for, you know, the bougie elite of us, and
of course,
you know, some of the people who are dirt poor don't think they're us.
What we're looking at, Hawk, you're looking at a social, economic, political, and spiritual change of the guard. It's going to happen whether we sit on our hands or not. It's happening it's happening. And so remember, it's ideological.
Change of the guard. I'm trying to figure out what you mean.
Yeah, it's ideological, Hawk. So, like, for instance, like you said, there's some of us that don't think they're us. It's because they bought into the ideology that's going out with the dinosaurs. See?
Like, you know, so, you know, I just, we myself included, we've all gone through some form of trauma, depression. Talk about that genetic memory. You know, there's a prevailing mind state amongst a lot of us. We're quick to buy into some untruths.
We try to medicate ourselves, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Things. How can I say? Try to medicate. People want an answer, and you see people fill in the gaps with untruths.
bro, the minds of the psyche of our people is so valuable. I'm talking about control of it. Is so valuable, bro. Now you see that's another part of the racism equation. Who can control the batteries? You see, that's another part of the racism issue, socially speaking.
I read an article today.
Yeah,
it was an interesting article about about the killing of young Dolph, the brother in Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis.
R.I.P. Young Dolph, man.
Yeah, rest in peace. The article was a reflection of really how we're quick to blame police, we're quick to blame white people, we're quick to blame but really it boils down to it's us.
Brother, I know you're familiar with that one show. I forgot whose show it was on. When I think was it Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs was speaking about the one meeting of the record execs,
yeah,
and the execs with private prison industry.
Yeah,
bro, you know, somebody took the reins of the narrative when it comes to our music. In other words, hip hop grew out of the remnants of our old world psyche into the new world, bro. And then somebody took control of it. And that's that. You see what I'm saying? Fellow New Jerseyan, Wise Intelligent was speaking on this for a minute.
Yeah.
Somebody else has a hold of it, and now they steered it to feed the private prison industry. And that's what it does. So if we take that, you already know when that started to happen, right? Right after self-destruction. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I see. I don't know about that because the 70s and the 80s was off the chain.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In New York averaged like 2,000-3,000 murders a year.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No, but I'm talking about in this case, I'm talking specifically about control of rap music to steer as a social engineering tool to steer behavior to feed the prison industry.
Yes. See, I think it's not coincidental, of course.
Right.
But it's an inevitability, right? So I don't think that secret meeting ever happened. I don't believe in the secret meeting.
So it's like a Willie Lynch. It's like a Willie Lynch type thing. It didn't happen, but the consequences are still real.
Right. But what did happen? What did happen was this, though, and I've talked about it several times on this platform.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Go ahead.
There was an actual genre called coon music.
Yep.
Coming out of slavery.
Yep.
White people mimicking black people.
Yep.
Would perform music, really making fun of black people.
Yes.
Jingles, what have you.
Yes.
There was one popular one called "Niggas Love Watermelon." Ha ha ha.
That's right. That's right.
Which ended up the ice cream truck jingle.
Yep. That's right.
Columbia Record put this out.
Yes.
This is like in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
Like the early phonograph with the big horn joint. Niggas love, and it went platinum. Think about that. In the late 1800s. You know how much money you had to have to buy a phonograph record? And a million people bought this thing.
Can I share? Well, I want to add to what you're just saying. First of all, I agree. All of that was a part of, as you already know, I'm preaching to the choir. It was a part of a huge media campaign to paint the artificial narrative on the artificial history.
Right.
A lot of what we see today as it relates to this happened Reconstruction era, not before.
Mm-hmm.
It happened Reconstruction. Come on. In large part, our people were considered property in a lot of cases prior to the end of slavery. But it was, this is another thing. Sorry, let me add this. Southern states coming back to the Union, they had to accept, or they had to ratify 14th and 15th Amendment. It was forced ratified. There was a third thing, and this is what really pissed them off. You want to talk about white rage? Here it is. Because they participated in the rebellion, their voting rights were temporarily suspended.
For how long?
That's how you had so many of us getting into office, bro. Real history.
Wow.
Real history.
So for how long were their voting rights suspended?
That I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember yet, but it's in here.
Right.
Ain't that crazy?
Watermelon good for you.
Ain't that crazy, bro?
Yeah.
You want to talk about rage? And now another reason why you understand that the voting thing is the vital nerve.
Let me land this plane though.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna speed up.
Yes, sir.
Civil rights, Black Power movement.
Yeah.
In '67, King addressed this body of broadcasters, publishers, promoters, and thanked them for their importance in the civil rights movement. Without them getting the word out, messaging, telling people where to go, marches, like the Black people controlled that space.
Facts.
Right. He thanked them.
Yes.
So few years later, this body decided they wanted to make a political move. Two things happened. One, the mafia stepped to them.
Of course.
Shut that down.
Of course.
And Clive Davis, when he was at CBS, commissioned the Harvard music study, the Harvard study on Black music.
Right.
To figure out how to take Black music from Black creators.
Right.
To be able to steer the message.
It's always been a power for the control of this, bro.
Yeah. So that's something that was going on like in the 70s, and then hip hop exploded through independent labels. So it was just a matter of using the same game plan.
Of course. I agree.
You know, because of our disunity as a community, because of our lack of self-reliance, our lack of self-investment, we're easily to take the short.
Yeah.
We're easy to take the short. And
yes,
they know it, so they get us to sell our culture to them for short, and then they control it. So that it was inevitable. That
I agree. I can agree with you 100%. 100%. And here, follow me. One of the reasons, and this is something that's taught in the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? With an absence of identity and an absence of creed, collectively speaking, there's an absence of culture. And what I mean by absence of culture in this sense is culture that benefits us first, like Italian Americans, like Irish Americans, like German Americans, like Japanese Americans. It benefits us first. It doesn't impair anybody else, but it benefits us first. That's the American way. That's core American values. Absent these things, we don't have the principles that bring us together. That is why money comes into the left hand, goes out of the right, and we make everybody else rich. Principles cost nothing.
Yeah.
But we lost those.
Wow. So is this something that, the few of us that know need to just do what we do? Or is it something that we have to wake the people up and get everybody on board?
It's a combination. Here we go. Ready? Those people like what you're doing with the whole Black Agenda thing in Newark, New Jersey with Roz. Mm-hmm. Other people doing similar things. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to my son. Shout out to Hocus. Shout out to Trife in Brooklyn. Shanduke McFadder. They're all doing heavy work. Shout out to Temple 34, Brooklyn, New York, and my brother T-Berry Bey and his wife. S. Anderson Bey, who works for the Kings County DA's office. Yo, there are people out there doing work. But guess what else has to happen? As bad as things are, they're not bad enough yet. And that's a sad thing to say. Because by and large, we're going to have to be forced to do it, bro.
Damn. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just, and it's, you know, again, when we say us, who are we talking about?
We're talking about the people, in this case, if I be very specific, we're talking about the people classified socially, not legally, socially in American society as black. That's who we're talking about. We're talking about us.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. You know, listen, man, if we don't get it together, the worst is yet to come. And that's that.
Yeah. It's hard. It's difficult because there's a learning curve that needs to happen.
Yes.
And, you know, I think, you know, our lack of engagement is directly tied to our lack of information and lack of knowledge on particular things. Because, you know, once you get to understand, you know, how the system works, you start to see how you could pimp the system.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you know, it's, you know, not to say, I don't like the word hustle has its place.
Right.
I don't like the word hustle.
You know what I use, bro? You get to drive the car.
You get to drive the car.
You get to drive the car. That's what you're supposed to do. That is the duty of citizenship. Right. It's a duty. It's not a privilege. It's a duty. I'm supposed, here we go, hot. It's, you know what it is? From a collective perspective, it's fatherhood. What does the father do for the household? Protect and provide. That's what he does. So civic engagement is collective fatherhood for the community. It's my duty. If I can have a hand in shaping the social landscape for my family, it's my duty to do so, bro.
So there's this, I said reparations earlier, right? And, you know, it's, they not gonna give us reparations. And you know, they need to give us land.
This is me, bro. This is me.
I gotta leave right.
Good.
They gotta give us. They're not gonna give us nothing. You gotta take it.
You know what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said about the status quo? He said, they're going to have to look death in the face first. And here's my other thing too, right? If you want to talk about birthright, you know, let me tell you what birthright is in the American system. Birthright is collective self-determination. If our people spend plus 1.6 trillion annually, all we got to do is practice the principles of community economics, bro. That's our restorative justice. You see what I'm saying? You already know what it is when you ask somebody or try to demand something from somebody. You just gave them all the power. And maybe I'm being boneheaded about it, because shout out to our people that push reparations. I'm not against reparations.
Yeah. I'm not against reparations
at all.
No. I'm not against reparations either.
Yeah.
I just think reparations is not something they're going to give us. It's something that we're going to take. So, it's like when I say that, it's like this certain inevitabilities about life, right? And I'm watching pockets of power controlled by melanated people.
Right.
I'm watching melanated people have an actual influence on this nation and its direction and decision making. I'm seeing that.
It's starting to happen.
I'm realizing that those black people who are in these positions were elected by black people.
Yeah.
Right. So it's we have an effect, but we don't follow all the way through on every level.
There you go.
We don't bring it all the way. We don't bring it home.
Right.
Right. And there's a way to bring it home, to make sure your ducks are lined in a row, so you have a through line to where the real power.
Yes, brother.
And you see different folks in position. I know some of these people. I'm like 3-4 degrees separation from these people.
Right.
Like these are people in real power. I'm not saying I got access to them. I'm just saying that if I had a dope enough idea, if I could put the right people in the room,
right.
A good friend of mine, we actually interviewed him on the show, Wendell Haskins.
Yes.
So he does a lot of great things. Dude is phenomenal all the way around.
Yes.
But he did 2 crazy dope things. One, he got now I just had it on my I'm gonna mess up. Elder.
Okay.
The golfer. He got him honored at the Masters.
Dope.
And then what's the other brother? Sifford. He got a declaration from Obama. No, he got honored. Charlie Sifford.
Dope.
So Wendell I'll send you the interview.
Okay.
But he brainchild both situations.
Yeah.
And made it happen because of his connection.
See, brother, that is called, that is the scientific definition of the word magic. To cause change and conformity to one's will, bro.
Bro, he got Obama. Like, it's just the way things worked out. The president of the United States is this man who just happens to be an avid golfer, so has a connection when you know who these people are.
Come on, bro.
And how and able to say he had to go get it was a whole process. He had to jump through all types of hoops. He had to get letters from,
but he got it done, right?
Bill Russell, Dr. J, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
He had to go to all these different people. Like, he had to run the ball.
Right.
And he ran it, and he got, I messed I probably messed up. I'm smoking. I'm high.
I was gonna say that,
but I think I nailed it though. I think I nailed it.
How Kara said, you start grinning, the syllables start bending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but big shout out to Wendell Haskins because he made some power moves, and that's on. I forget what episode, but if you run down the Madism lineup, you'll see interview with Wendell Haskins on Madism Sports, actually.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah. So, but so I say all that to say that Jalen Rose, great analogy. He said he looks at this thing as like a football game, and you might not win, but you're still fighting for field position.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Like the fight, the game might be crazy. You might be on the 5-yard line trying to go 95 yards. It's in the last minutes of the game, but you're still fighting for field position.
I forgot, to your point, I forgot what Super Bowl this was, but it involved the Green Bay Packers and Vince Lombardi, legendary coach, right? They lost. And so the reporter asked him, said, how do you feel about losing the Super Bowl? He said, we didn't lose, we just ran out of time.
Yeah, man. Like it's it's like the fight goes on. Like you have to keep living. You're gonna wake up tomorrow. The sun still goes. You have to pass the baton to the next generation coming behind you. You got to make it a little bit easier. And as we go through life, I'm seeing people in position. Like, okay, let's connect some dots.
You know what, Hawk? See, you just said it right there, man. One thing that the European learned from us and does well, that we have to learn from him again, or relearn it or reacquire it, legacy building. Legacy building. have the unselfishness to initiate something now, knowing I'm not going to see it in this flesh manifest, but do it anyway. See? We got to start thinking like that.
Yeah.
We got to start thinking like that. We have to start thinking, come on, look at how the feds are using RICO right now. Racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations. We know how that got started. RICO got started specifically to take down their mafia. And when they put it together, the feds said, listen, it's going to take us 30 years to do it, meaning we're not going to be around to see it happen, it come to full fulfillment. They did it anyway. We got to start thinking like that. Like you said, put your work in, pass the baton. Let those coming behind you stand on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Stop being so selfish. You know?
Yeah. But you know, it's this next generation, they get a lot of money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Money's flowing. We have tons of money.
In some respects, these dudes are super duper. Come on, man. You know, in some respects, they're more honest than we were, right? How AZ said it. You know, we was beginners in the hood as 5%ers, but something must have got in us because all of us turned to sinners. So we was doing crazy, wild stuff, but still trying to hold the image of being righteous. These dudes is like, I'm on demon time, my dude.
Yo, it's yo.
They honest about it.
Yo, I be bugging out like, yo, they straight say they on
demon time. Demon time. Right?
No, you don't want to be on demon time.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
No, you don't never want to give yourself over to the demons.
Right. This one dude, right? This one up and coming rapper, what his name is K Flock. How he said it? He said, what's a demon to a goblin? What's trapping and robbing? Every villain got a problem. Facts, every hero got a Gotham. Yo, they honest, bro.
I got this song called Niggonometry.
Yeah.
And Niggonometry, I know Cannabis did a song called Niggonometry. Big shout out to Cannabis.
Yep.
This Niggonometry is, you know, basically the upside down world we live in. And how, you know, it's like what we're doing to survive in this world. Like our whole reality is just twisted. So the artwork for the single is dope. You saw the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom? You know that movie?
Yes.
Came out in the 70s?
Yes.
So one of the promotional pieces for it is a brother, slave. His head is in a cage, right? And the way it's shot, like he's sitting, it's pitch black. He's black. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
And you just see space, the stars above his head. Like everywhere. Almost like, you know, as above, so below.
Right.
Like when you're trying to, you know, it's all this freedom, but you're caged.
Ooh, that's mean.
It's all this, but you're caged.
Yeah.
So it's shitty cuz shitty is and shitty does.
Ooh.
A rolls out the concrete, nipped in the bud. Where my chick is a stallion, but my nigga's a stud.
Ooh.
Right there.
Woo! Wow. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Like the mentality.
Yo, let me share this with you. Let me share when you spit that, bro. Again, this is hip hop, right? And the manifest world, let's go up with it, let's go high with it. The manifest world literally is inner perception projected out.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? You create your reality. You put the bricks in front of you that you're walking on. That's just what it is. That being said, when you with some words can craft imagery between my two ears, you are shaping perception. You see the power?
Oh, no doubt. Take some from nothing, excuse me. Make something from nothing by uttering the word. Niggas don't get it. I must be stuttering from the herb.
Woo! Right.
Oh, no, it's definitely the word. It's all about the word and how
Come on, bro.
you use words and vibrations to shape your reality. Oh, no doubt. But in that,
that's a law. That's a law.
In that, the word.
Yes.
America. Where does that word come from?
Oh, there's so many different. It all depends. It all depends on who you talk to. It all depends on context. You've got people saying MRC, America's Morocco, Al Maroc, maybe, right? There's something to that.
Amerigo Vespucci? No.
Amerigo Vespucci, which no. What you see is so many different groups trying to lay claim.
Okay.
So we're right back to the whole thing of who gets to determine what the new Americanism is going to look like. Because the fact is, the Eurocentric proxy for Americanism is dying. That's just what it is.
All right.
It's dying, bro.
Explain that.
You already described, you already gave one of the major ones. The changing demographic, the browning of America, that's happening. Also, new emerging identity issues. BIPOC, ADOS, you already know the founding of that whole thing was the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're not Negro, black, and colored. We're descendants of Moroccans born in America. See that? So in other words, racism is a social structure. It's not the cop that shoots you. That's not racism. It's not the shark. Listen close. It's not the shark that bites you. It's the water the shark and you are in. So the cop shooting or the McMichael shooting Ahmaud Arbery wasn't racism. It was Europeans accessing the system. The racism was the DA and these other ones protecting them in the process. You understand? Racism is a system. They are just accessing it. You see?
Right. Well, yes, not to disagree.
Right.
But there's a side to it as well. It's not a but, it's a and.
Right.
The way they see us, the way in their minds, how they're
Bro, no, that's exactly it. Hold on. The American Anthropological Association, we just showed you earlier, Federal Directive 15. The American Anthropological Association did a response to Federal Directive 15 in 1997. They straight up said, look, it has no basis in science. It's made up. It's fake sociology. That's what it is. Then they said this. Here's how it really works. I don't get the job, the raise, the loan, whatever. I don't get those things because I call myself black. No. I don't get those things because society's already determined that I'm black and has already attributed certain stigmas to that. So you're exactly right, bro. You got people who already think a particular way about you making laws and creating institutions. It's never written down because it doesn't have to be. It's already here.
Right, but I'm gonna go out and shoot you though. Yeah. That's not based on what you call yourself. That's based on somebody going.
That's you. I agree.
That person's worth me shooting.
I agree. In other words, when you have a caste system operating in the open, let's take in India, the Brahmins, the undesirables. It's operating out in the open, meaning what? Hey, one of those Brahmin dudes can just straight up kill one of these other guys. And come on, man. The McMichaels almost broke down and had a. How are you going to break down and act like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm guilty? Are you kidding? This is how. deep in your heart, you see such a social devaluation of people with dark melanin in their skin that it's legal to kill them. It's okay. You got to remember that those dudes were walking around playing the tape of it and joking around about it for a whole year.
Yeah, but that's like, Minister Society when they had the tape of it. Yeah, that's like there's a certain level of people are ignorant, right?
Yes.
And people are dealing with all types of mental health issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Racism is a global mental health issue.
Is a global mental health issue. Thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So in that, like, you have racism as a system to support the mental illness that makes people think, but then you still have the activity and the actions of these people, and we have to navigate it knowing that these people are mentally ill.
Agreed. But we have to address the mental illness. If not, know what we're doing? This is what a lot of our people are doing. We're confusing people accessing the system of racism. We're confusing racist acts with racism. They're not the same. So if we think racist acts are racism, you know what we end up doing? Being totally reactionary and waiting for the next body to drop.
Oh yeah. Now I always say, like, there's a difference between bigotry and racism and
prejudice
and racism. Those are different terms, right? But there is this thing with a great deal of this country.
Yes.
Like, some of it's based on race, some of it's based on I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you looked at me.
You have, okay, here we go. You have bigotry. You have prejudices based on race, based on gender, based on whatever, right? You have those things, of course. But it's all together. See, like this, watch this, right? LGBTQ community. What's one of the unspoken presumptions that's totally false about the LGBTQ community? They're a marginalized community, so therefore there's no racism in it. See that?
Let me say it again.
Because they are a marginalized community, a minority, so to speak, then they're immune to racism. Now, we know that that's not true. We know that that's not true.
You're saying black homosexuals are immune to?
No. I'm saying that there's an overreaching presumption with the LGBTQ community that racism doesn't exist within it.
Yeah. Well, see, here's another thing about. I'm glad you're there, right there, because that movie Farewell Uncle Tom,
right,
highlighted something, that the sex trade during slavery was the dominating industry around slaves.
Ooh, see, you about to make me pull another book. Let me see. Where is that book?
So a lot of the, also in Django, they did a great job in highlighting that as well. How sexuality and homosexuality was a tool during.
Here you go.
Wow. See? And I didn't even read the book. It's like, come on, man. Like, how jokers get down.
Right.
You know how they get down now. Can you imagine if they had the total freedom to do it? Man,
listen, brother, listen close. You ready? There's a peer-reviewed, published sociological paper on the topic of machismo, and saying the origin of machismo, the whole Latin hyper male thing, right? Came from, listen close, bro, Euro-Christian conceits against Africans in Europe.
Wait. All right, so say it again.
The whole concept of machismo, the whole Latin hyper masculinity thing, was born out of European Euro-Christian conceits against African rulers and the Africans in Europe, in Spain, because they were at war. Remember, we talked about this already. What do I mean by conceits? Here we go. Ready?
There you go.
Here we go. Vietnam War. What did the Allies in the U.S. call the Viet Cong, North Vietnamese?
Gooks.
Zipperheads, gooks, right? Fast forward to today. Vietnamese American applying for a job, race, check your box, and you see a box that says gook.
Oh, he gonna get paid.
That's what the black box is, people. Sorry, that's what it is. Now, but back on topic. What the Portuguese and the Spaniards, European Portuguese and the Spaniards were calling Moors. In other words, the African diasporic power in Spain and in Europe, they said they're not real men. They're not real men. Hold on. The social scientists in America, fast forward to Civil War era, considered the Negro man to be feminine. That's what sociology said at that time, bro. See? That's the number one reason why so many of our people fought to fight in the Civil War. Why? Because the concept of manhood was considered paramount and necessary for equal recognition in American society. So their whole thing is, if we could fight, kill, and die right alongside you other dudes, then you cannot deny us our manhood.
Wow. Yeah, it's like when you're considered a boy.
Well, you already know.
Yeah, you're considered a boy. Like it's a very effeminate, especially when you think of in ancient Greece, how they would boys raise the boys up. You'd be like this, have all these little boys around you, and you can legally do it, and you can buy and sell jokers,
right?
And the society is debased. Why? Because they have slaves,
right?
If you have slaves, you're debased.
You already know.
Yeah. So it's just so I say all that to say that in terms of the LGBTQ not being racist or being immune to racism, that's a complete fallacy, because we just showed with this book.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's and again, am I saying that all members of that community think that? No. But there is a pervading presumption that community is immune to racism, and that's not true. That's not true.
That's crazy.
Also, but to your point, when it came to colonialism, and what do we mean by colonialism, people? What are we talking about? We're talking about European hegemony. We're talking about Europeans against non-European peoples.
Yeah, or is more clearly, the colonies of Great Britain. So the colonial
we're talking about
era,
manifest destiny.
Yeah, the colonial era.
There you go.
The different 13 colonies.
There you go.
Controlled by the British Crown.
Yes.
Were in operation here. This is before the actual United States of America. This is before
there you go, bro.
This is that whole period.
There you go. And you know what it is? The monkey never calls his own child ugly. In other words, we got to look at it. It's ugly. We even got to look at our own ugliness. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they got to look at their ugliness. They got to look at their ugliness. You see what I'm saying? And the education system was the Euro-colonialist education system was a military tool. Military tool. You see what I'm saying? Our people, you know, on our research team, Ali's man, one of our brothers, Brother R. Bey, who's co-founder of an award-winning charter school in Memphis, Tennessee. Award-winning. He does this presentation all over the country about how education is colonized and how it was used as a military tool. And guess what? It was the liberal approach. The conservative approach was just kill them. The liberal approach is like, no, just take the Indian out of them. Kill the Indian in them. Kill the native in them. Kill the African in them. Kill the Indian in them. That was the liberal approach. And the education was the means. Everybody needs to look up the Daughters of the American Confederacy. Look them up. Look them up. Daughters of the American Confederacy. As a matter of fact, in this same book, Budiansky talks about how the South only lost militarily. They kept fighting. You know how they fight now? How they started fighting?
Yeah, January 6th.
School books. Oh, that too. That too, of course. Of course. Yes, that's actual fact.
January 6th.
Fact.
Donald Trump.
Actual fact.
Yeah.
That's right, bro. That's right. Actual fact.
The country white boy got a city slicker, a New York City slicker running the show. Ain't that something?
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? But here, and as you see, you called it all earlier. If you are not abreast of enough proper historical orientation, you out to lunch. You can't make heads or tails of what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, with the whole civic engagement. See, you participated, so you know firsthand. You know, the government isn't the enemy. My car ain't the enemy. You bumped me with the car. I'm not going to kick the car or look in the windshield.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you know, I look at it as like, you know, government to govern.
There you go.
Well, you got to govern yourself first and foremost.
How about that, bro?
You govern yourself. You govern your family.
There you go.
Right.
Right.
You govern your extended family.
That's right, bro. That's civic engagement. That's right, bro.
You govern PTA.
How about that?
School board.
How about that?
Parks commissions.
How about that?
You know,
DPW.
DPW. It just goes on and on and on. And you know, you engage. Some of these positions, it's not about a college degree.
Nope.
It's
you already know.
It's just about your engagement, and
that's it.
You know, so definitely, like, you know, the idea of who an American is. If you live here and you travel the roads,
yes, you
got to get from point A to point B.
Yep.
You have employment here, or you own a company here, or if you're here, it's only right that you govern your affairs.
Also, too, here, watch this. I don't care if you ride in your grandma's couch collecting a check. You are now a feed through for public money. You still got a stake in the game.
Yeah.
You still got a stake in the game, man.
Wow.
You still have responsibility. See?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to you know, participate on some level. Everybody doesn't have to be the mayor. Everybody doesn't have to be the president of the everybody doesn't have to run for office.
That's right.
But you know, you should be at least attending meetings and voting and making your voice heard.
Come on, bro.
Yeah,
that's right.
Do more and put some money in the game. Get some skin in the game for real. Get some real action going. But if not, you know, you can organize a group of people and delegate, which is where the real power is.
Bro, you got it.
Yeah.
Bro, word is born. I love the fact that you are speaking to these issues, bro. And not just on this show, but you got your hands in it. We need more of that, man. We need more of that.
Yeah, man, That's where the power is. That's where the money is. So we got this initiative, 24 hours a piece.
But Hawk, power to do what? And again, I'm preaching to the choir. Power to do what? Power to change your condition.
Yeah, exactly.
See? Yeah. Power to improve your condition, man.
Yeah, man, that's it. We had to get control of the reins of the city to be able to have the city address these real life problems.
There you go.
And we did it.
There you go.
So yeah, it's definitely the probability is strong because we have the numbers where we are. It's just about organizing.
You hit it right on the nose.
Page. Yep.
You hit it right on the nose, bro.
Yeah. Well, listen, bro. I appreciate you, being on the management platform.
This is a long time coming, right?
Yeah, we went 2.5 hours, bro.
Woo.
It was a great conversation. Big shout out to JT, John Scott. Who else is in the building? Valerie, Will, everybody that hopped on, man. We appreciate you guys taking a ride with us. This has been a dope one, especially the day before Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Oh
wow, yeah. The chat was active, bro.
Yeah. So, real Americans vote.
That's right.
Real Americans vote. In the United States of America, anyway, we vote. So get out there.
Real talk. Bro.
Figure out what candidate represents what you're about and get behind them. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for or how you should vote. Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever suits your fancy.
You know what I want to say, bro? Vote your issues.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
But you got to know your issues.
Yeah.
Educate. I'll quote one of my favorite rappers. Of course, he's from the X, right? Lord Tariq. He said, 848, get your $1 million bail. Then scrape the plate and make $1 million sale. In other words, educate before you engage. Know what you're getting in.
Yeah. For sure. JT said we need a part 2.
Let's do it.
Yeah. He said, I can't people think voting is a joke. Hey, it's not a joke. If they think that, joke's on them.
Come on, bro. It's real. It's real.
It's real.
There's a reason why when you think about it. Remember, slavery is legal if you get convicted of a crime. What are the 2 things you lose, people? There's a reason for that.
Yep. Take away your voting rights.
Yeah, it's a reason, man.
Take away your power.
Take away your ability to shape society and circumstances in your favor.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You know what? Before we hop off, talk about the political work you guys are doing in Syracuse.
We almost had the first Moorish American mayor of a city ever. Almost.
Okay.
We didn't win.
Almost.
But now let me just share that. Shout out to my brother Khalid Bey, man. That's my man. He and I, formed what's called Operation Proclamation of the Act 6 movement. And basically what we're talking about civic engagement and basically civic and political capital, right? What we've been talking about, what you've been talking about, that's OP, it's Operation Proclamation. But anyway, he lost. Now, here's the truth. Even if all of our people in this city, hopefully there's some of our people in Syracuse listening right now, even if all of us voted for him, we would have still lost. I want you to follow. I want everybody to follow me. Follow me. City of Syracuse, this term or this upcoming term, they're redoing the highway that goes through it that disenfranchised a whole bunch of our people back in the day, right? You know how that goes. That highway's coming down. There's a whole project to tear the highway down. There's federal money coming for that. There's community development block grant money coming. Then there's COVID-19 relief funding. It's the biggest federal check this city has seen since the beginning of this city. You had a whole bunch of supporters for my brother. He's been in government for 10 years on the Common Council. A lot of the trade unions supported him until this year. You know why? He's got a 10-year record of making people share the money. Hold on. This city, the city of Syracuse, 3-1 Democrats outnumber Republicans. It's always a Democrat winning. 3-1. Bro, he's Democrat. Bro, the incumbent is independent. Okay, you get it? This was a referendum on two things. Ready? The Democratic Party and race. Them Europeans was like, nah, money. We're going to vote against our party to make sure you don't get in. And that's what happened. But see, the beauty, the blessing is that now it's out in the open. Everybody can see it. See that?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Race is unscientific. Racism is real.
That's the fact. That's the fact. I can tell a lie. The lie is not real, but if you believe the lie, you just created a reality.
Yeah. True indeed. True indeed.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to have to do a part 2.
Oh, for sure, bro.
We're going to have to do a part 2.
For sure, for sure.
I don't know if we're going to have a day more as special as the day before Thanksgiving. we'll figure it out and get it right. My brother Sharif Bey is in the building. This is IZM TV. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll be out of here, y'all. Peace.
Yes, sir.